At last, the days are longer and the hours are warmer. After a cold and unsettled start to the year, spring is finally here.
And it couldn't be more welcome in the season that signals life and birth.
A time to embrace new beginnings.
The perfect time to put a spring in your step.
Time to forget winter's cold and the rain and enjoy the spring countryside in all its glory.
All week, we're travelling the length and breadth of the UK.
Do you think that this equipment will help save lives?
It could save lives, yeah. It could save lives, definitely.
Bringing the very best seasonal stories that matter to you.
Sparrows and starlings, they've declined by 60% in the last 10 years,
Wow.
which is a huge amount.
Welcome to Countryfile Spring Diaries. And here are some of the entries for you today in our Spring Diaries. Paul's battling against the alarming tide of rubbish clogging our canals.
There's a double bed up there. Look, there's half of it there and half of it there. That is shocking. That is absolutely shocking.
In the first of 3 special reports, Margarita's with a wildlife rescue squad where life hangs in the balance.
We've got a gull coming in from Burnham with hooks in its beak.
So I think this is one of the worst I've seen. The hook has gone straight into the mouth.
And I'll be showing you how our new craze for artisan bread might just land you your dream job in the country.
We're here all week on the Malvern Hills, which rise up from the Severn Plain and look across some of the most fertile countryside in the UK. Of course, as a nation, we're mad about gardening. Around 27 million of us love nothing more than getting out in the spring fresh air to plant and prune, whether we've got a patio or sweeping acres. But an alien invader is doing its best to destroy all our hard work, decimating the underground helpers that we rely on. Keely is in Aberdeen finding out how we can take on these lethal and voracious attackers.
Friends plummet. And it's all down to this little assassin, the New Zealand flatworm. It's thought this small, creepy crawly arrived here as a stowaway on plants from New Zealand to a botanical garden in the UK in the 1960s. It's now spreading right across the UK, with strongholds in Scotland and the north of England. But they'll find it hard to wriggle away from Aberdeen University's resident New Zealand flatworm expert, scientist Annie Robinson. A woman on a mission to halt the murderous marauders. So how do they kill our native earthworms then?
Well, they will wrap themselves around an earthworm, and as you can see from the sticky mucus here, it will discrete that over the earthworm and it turns it to liquid soup. And then sucks it up. So, yes, it's not the most pleasant of things.
Oh, it's like a cartoon villain almost.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. Of course, it's not its fault that it came into this country.
And it's causing real problems, isn't it?
From a survey we've been conducting, people that have got this now in their gardens are reporting that they never, ever see any earthworms any longer.
That bad?
Yeah. So, causing real issues for gardens, for allotments, but also for the agricultural trade.
And have they caused the same problems in New Zealand as well, then?
It's in the South Island in New Zealand, mainly in the forest environments, and there's lots of other different species of flatworms in that environment. So it's in balance with the ecosystem there.
So what's this, then?
So this is soil that I got from my vegetable patches this morning.
And it's full of worms.
It is. It's what we'd expect when you normally dig over some soil. Of course, the earthworms produce drainage tunnels for the water to go, and they also are most efficient nutrient cyclers. Here's a big lobworm here. This is one you'll often find deeper down. This one creates big vertical tunnels, which is great for taking all of the leaf litter that falls on in the autumn and any nutrients and mixes it all up in the soil.
And earthworms are crucial for good gardens, good allotments, good farming.
Good gardens, allotments, farming, but also for our native wildlife, because actually so many birds and mammals are dependent on earthworms as their main food source. But the New Zealand flatworm will consume probably one of these a week, which doesn't sound much, but when you have lots and lots of flatworms, that can soon have a real impact.
The kiwi killers have wreaked havoc in the north of England and Scotland, from Cumbria to the Shetlands. And in Northern Ireland, they cost the local economy an estimated £34 million in 2017. And these nasty critters aren't just a danger to our garden flowers, they also make growing fruit and veg a whole lot tougher. They've run amok on these allotments here in Aberdeen, and I've come to meet Sue, who's been battling their slimy onslaught for 20 years. I hear you've been having problems here with the flatworms.
We've had lots of flatworms. They're all around the site and they really do affect the soil here.
How can you tell?
Well, I'm digging here. This should have been broken down by worms in the winter, but instead it's full of large lumps of earth.
How did you first spot that you had the flatworm?
Probably the lack of worms.
So what was it like when you first came here then?
Oh, beautiful worms, really long worms that size, really fat worms, and I've worms in every forkful.
But now none?
No, none. Virtually none. You very, very rarely see a worm.
So what do you do about it?
Well, dig more, incorporating organic matter into the soil.
And can that cause its own problems?
It may cause weeds to grow, because I think when you dig over the soil, it tends to bring the weed seeds to the surface and they tend to grow a bit more.
This must cause you an awful lot of extra work.
I could do without all this digging, but you know, I feel I'm breaking up the ecosystem, the lovely ecosystem that should exist in the soil.
I'll let you get back to digging.
Thank
Thanks, Sue. With the average Brit spending £30,000 on gardening in a lifetime, it'd be handy to know where these greedy little guzzlers lurk. So I'm back with Annie to dig out the flatworm's favourite hiding places. So let's have a little look under here, see if we can find any.
So looking under this wood here, you can see 1, 2, 3 flatworms there. These are reasonable sized ones.
So how can people tell that they are the flatworm rather than an earthworm?
Earthworms are round, New Zealand flatworms are completely flat. They're brown, purplish in colour, and they've got these pale edges, which are speckled, and underneath they're pale as well. They also don't have any segments, which you would normally find in earthworms. These ones are pointed at both ends, you can see as it's stretching out here.
And there's lots of slime around there. Is that something to do with them?
Yeah, so when they're resting underneath things like this, they're normally curled up like a Swiss roll. And you'll often see the evidence of this sort of shiny slime that they leave.
So what should someone do if they find a flatworm?
Well, they can control it using salty water or lemon juice.
Ideally, though, prevention is better than cure. So here's Annie's lowdown on how to stop them invading your garden in the first place. Flatworms love to hide out in nooks and crannies, so take a good look around the rims of pots before you plant anything out. Also go through the soil in the pot. The worms are flat and purpley brown. But keep your eyes peeled for the egg capsules too. They look like a shiny blackcurrant. These nasty little intruders hate heat, so when in doubt, pop your whole plant pot on a sunny windowsill or in a bowl of warm water and watch while the flatworms wriggle to the top. Who would have thought such a small creature could cause so much damage? And I think what we've learned from today is prevention is key in saving our allotments and gardens. Good luck.
On a lovely spring day like this, there's nothing to beat the great outdoors as the countryside sheds its winter coat and wears the glorious colours of the new season. Rivers and canals are bursting with life, but they do face a deadly threat. And Paul is just up the road in Birmingham to find out more.
Our waterways are one of the glories of Britain. Sadly, a tsunami of rubbish is putting them at risk. But the clean-up starts right here in Birmingham.
You can forget your feather dusters and your dustpans and brushes. When it comes to sprucing up a canal, you need to bring in the big guns. And that's where this extraordinary contraption comes in very useful.
Dhruv Bora is a man on a mission. Since 2017, he's been using his homemade boat bike to tackle the growing tide of clutter, clogging our waterways and endangering the wildlife that depend upon them.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So what inspired you to do this?
I have seen a lot of plastic litter before, mostly during sailing. So I have done a lot of races, ocean racing, and in the middle of the ocean, I have seen a lot of plastic litter. And back in London, I saw a lot of plastic on the River Thames.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me cycle on a river and raise awareness about plastic pollution. But I had to come up with a wacky idea. When you see a bike on the water, people stop, take a picture and ask me, are you off-road cycling? You can't escape cyclists, not even on the canal. So it's a very nice conversation starter to trigger the conversation, all the plastic I'm collecting and the dangers. And these 2 fishing nets get filled up in just 1 hour.
What's the weirdest thing you've had to collect from a canal?
Different stuff. Chairs.
Chairs?
Yeah. Traffic lights, traffic cones, to cash machines, cash registers, right in the canal.
Unbelievable. So are you gradually going to get this floating bike on all the canals and waterways, do you think?
I hope, yeah, around the UK at least.
I wish I could join you. Yeah. Sadly, it's not a tandem.
Yeah.
Next time, get a tandem, OK?
We'll do it, yeah.
I'll let you get back on.
Drew's pedal-powered litter picking is sure to put a smile on your face, but keeping our waterways spick and span is a serious business. Nationally, the Canal and River Trust spend an eye-watering £1 million every year on clearing up hundreds of tonnes of rubbish. Now that's more than the odd crisp packet, as the Trust's Peter Birch explains.
So tell me, is it just sort of plastic bags and bottles and general litter?
It's all sorts. It's takeaway wrappers, it's drinks bottles, it's the kind of almost disposable packaging that we have with modern life now. But we get all kinds of other litter as well, and some deliberate dumping of things like tyres, bikes, cars, safes, and household rubbish. But we know from surveys that over 20% of people will admit to dropping litter, and if 20% of people will admit it, how many people are actually doing it?
Then the percentage is a lot higher, isn't it?
It's always been an issue. I've been dealing with it for over 20 years, but in the last 5 years, the number of complaints that we receive about the level of littering on our waterways has gone up over 3 times.
And it's just so dangerous for the wildlife, isn't it?
It is, yes. If you think about it, you wouldn't like to live in a rubbish tip, would you? So asking the fish and the swans and the ducks to do the same. So they can eat it, which is obviously harmful for them, or they can get trapped in it as well, which can be fatal.
Peter and his colleagues certainly have an uphill struggle on their hands. Birmingham alone has more miles of canal than Venice. So today, Drew, his boat bike and I are helping the clean-up on one of the city's grubbiest stretches of waterway.
This workboat is called Tame. It's our support vessel for the day, and it really means business, and it's going to help us clean up the canal.
Every year, more than 40 task forces take to the water to tidy up.
Chris Bag, missed that one.
You missed one back.
At the helm today is the Trust's Nick Cleaver.
Let me have some gloves. Nick, there's a massive effort going on here today. We've got people in kayaks, we've got our pedal bike there, people on the towpath, and you with your net.
Yeah.
How important is it to bring the community together to do this?
Well, it's massively important for us. Canal and River Trust is a charity. The work that volunteers do is fantastic, and so we do really, really value local people coming and getting involved, and particularly caring about the canals and seeing the canals as part of the community in which they live.
And I tell you what, judging by the size of this vessel, you see a lot of rubbish.
We see an awful lot of rubbish. It's a real shame.
That is disgusting, isn't it? Someone's just thrown their household waste into the canal. The bag's got ripped up, so everything else has fallen out. It's probably on the canal bed.
But the real eye-opener is not just the litter floating on the water.
The double bed up there, look, there's half of it there and half of it there.
It's the shocking amount of rubbish along the canal banks.
That is a massive, great big grab bag from a building site. It makes you want to cry.
Yeah. What will happen is what starts on the towpath and on the embankments
ends up in here.
Ends up in the water, and once it gets into the water, it can enter the general water system and possibly into our food chain.
No one knows yet what that means for our health, but experts warn that ingesting plastic could lead to poisoning, infertility and genetic changes in marine life, and maybe even in humans. It's scary stuff.
I'm ashamed. That is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. I didn't think it would be as bad as that.
There are about 2,000 miles of canals in Britain. Today, we've tackled less than a mile.
That is a full nappy. In fact, that is disgusting. That is
really
disgusting.
very disgusting.
For me, the sheer volume of rubbish is truly shocking, and I can't help thinking that all this junk is spoiling what could be a beautiful canal-side walk.
Look at that. That was floating in the canal. Isn't that bad?
But with barge and boat bike loaded,
We're going to race now.
Yeah.
I want an expert's take on our haul. So I'm catching up again with Peter, who I met earlier.
I didn't expect to see any of this.
No, it's quite awful, isn't it?
Shocking. Yeah, absolutely shocking. You're probably used to it, but I'm not. I could have spent a few more hours there, you know. We just wanted to clear the whole bank and fill that whole of the hull of that
And we
boat.
could have done as well.
Yeah,
That's
we could have
part of
done.
the problem, isn't it?
Is Lissa picking the answer?
It's part of the answer. And, you know, clearly because we don't seem to be quite breaking the back of it with what we're doing at the moment, we need to do more in terms of people stopping throwing it and people taking more responsibility for stopping their friends and their neighbours and their colleagues from throwing litter and doing something that puts a value on some of this stuff so that people don't throw it. Because if a plastic bottle is worth 50p, you're less likely to throw it away. And then that will solve the problem anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's been a rewarding day. It's been quite sad as well.
Yeah, and but you've got to... Yeah, but it makes you feel good when you're doing something to do. So that's the thing. So you see it.
Thing is, I didn't want to stop. You know, I thought, well, look, there's still 3 more hours left of sunlight kind of thing. Let's just crack on.
OK, well then.
Well, we can all do our bit for our waterways, can't we? So look out for a canal spring clean near you. And, of course, there are some fabulous walks along the towpaths. And here are 5 of our favourites. 15 minutes outside Derby, Shardlow is an 18th century port on the UK's first long-distance canal, the Trent Mersey. Salt, food, coal, iron and Wedgwood pottery were transported along its 93 miles. If you don't fancy walking or cycling, you could always hop aboard a narrowboat. But be sure your steering's up to it. And good luck with the locks. Talking of which, on the 87-mile Kennet and Avon Canal, which goes through Wiltshire and the Cotswolds, you'll need to brace yourself for the infamous Cane Hill locks. There are 29 of them, rising 237 feet over 2 miles. An ingenious way of getting barges uphill, but definitely not for the faint-hearted. Whether you're on foot or on board, in North Wales you're sure to have your heart in your mouth when you confront the Pont Cysulti Aqueduct on the Llangollen Canal. You can't help but marvel at this extraordinary feat of engineering, dating back more than 200 years. The tallest navigable aqueduct in Britain, it took 10 years to build, stands 126 feet high with 19 arches spanning more than 1,000 feet. Quite amazing. Spring is also the perfect time to amble along one of our beautiful rivers. The Severn is the longest at 220 miles, and here in the Malverns, it's right on our doorstep. It's famous for a spectacular event which is something of a planetary miracle. When the sun, the moon and Earth are perfectly aligned, they create the Severn Bore. This tidal wave is the second highest in the world as it sweeps up the Severn as wide as 5 miles and almost 10 feet high. Like Matt, you could try your luck at bodyboarding.
All right. That's it.
Or even surfing, if you can stand up.
What a feeling that is, honestly.
Check the tides for the best time to go. And finally, the neighbouring River Wye is one of the cleanest in the UK, meandering through some of our most stunning countryside as it wriggles along the border of England and Wales. It teems with wildlife, and if you're lucky, you could even spot a kingfisher. Trout are one of the 30 species of fish in the Wye, which makes it one of the most important river systems in Northern Europe. And of course, there are beautiful places to recharge the batteries, like 12th century Tintern Abbey. For much of our wildlife, spring isn't as easy as you might think. Whether they're orphaned or simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, many need a helping hand. Salvation lies in the Secret World Wildlife Rescue Centre in North Somerset, whose dedicated staff can handle as many as 50 emergencies a day at this time of year. And here's Margarita with the first of 3 special reports.
Now, if you dread doing the washing, imagine tackling this lot. 150 blankets, fleeces, towels, and around 35 teddy bears. Hi, Sam. Sorry, I'm bringing you more work. That's daily, that amount. That's what's needed, the laundry list, to care for the 6,000 residents that come and stay here at Secret World every single year. Some of those very noisy residents go through more than others when it comes to laundry, and I have some very special guests waiting for this now. Animal carer Ashley, one of 10 staff here, has just taken delivery of a particularly messy brood. Orphan ducklings who are just a few weeks old. Their mum chose to nest in a nearby hospital. Great for a human infant, not such a good start in life for a tiny duck.
They have an enclosed pond area in which the mum and the babies are unable to get out of, so we had to go rescue them. We often put teddies in that they can sit on top of, because they usually sit in a group. So especially if we had a lone duckling, we would put a teddy in, because they are very social, like them, and they get very lonely on their own. We have lots in at the moment, so we don't have that problem.
Keeping the mucky ducks pristine means cleaning out their pens at least 3 times a day.
They're not big enough to have access to a bath yet, which would obviously help with their preening and the natural instinct to preen.
But in a few weeks' time, they'll take to water. Well, like ducks to water.
They are very cute. I think it's the fluffiness and they're just a sign of spring, really, aren't they? It's when we get the ducklings, it's like, oh, spring and nice weather's here.
The rescue centre was founded just over 25 years ago by Pauline Kidner on her and her husband's dairy farm. The team here care for sick, injured and orphaned wild animals 24/7 all year round.
Out of all the animals that we have through our doors, there's 5,000 to 6,000. 2/3 of those will be birds. Most of them little tiny nestlings too. It's the time of year when it's spring, obviously. There's also that period of time when they come out of the nest and they can't fly, and that's when people get really worried about them. And I think we have to blame Spring Watch for that.
Pauline and her team have to be prepared for absolutely anything. And an emergency call has just come in.
Wildlife Rescue, how can I help you? We've got a gull coming in from Burnham with hooks in its beak.
The gull was found at a nearby holiday village in a sorry state.
So we always try and keep the birds covered because it can be very, very stressful for them.
This poor fella has a fishing lure and barbs stuck in his mouth, beak and foot. Graham, one of nearly 200 volunteers, is with animal carer Katie, snipping away what barbs he can.
Luckily, it's gone through the web.
Oh, dearie me. The hook has gone straight into the mouth. The hook has then snagged on the inside of the roof of the beak, into the tongue and the side of the mouth. Herring calls, they're incredibly resourceful, so if they come across anything that looks vaguely like a fish, then they're going to have it. But it's quite a horrendous hook.
This gull's injuries are so horrific, it's off to the vets. It's touch and go if he will make it.
For me, yes, I think this is one of the worst I've seen.
And there's something even tinier fighting for its life under Ashley's tender care.
It's a day-by-day thing, even hour by hour, really. But it could change at any point, being so young and not having mum, and we can't do as well as mum does, unfortunately. We can do our best.
Only a week or so old, this little chap, known as a blob, needs constant care. He's fed a specialist bird mix at least once an hour.
His eyes just opened today. We tend to kind of nickname any really, really small bird a blob because we're not always certain what species they are. Some are very hard to tell at certain ages. We think he's a songthrush because he looks very much like a little blackbird would, except from he has this lovely head of hair, lovely little afro. He was found by a member of the public who confiscated him off a group of children who were messing around with the nest, unfortunately. I do find it quite upsetting this day and age because I don't think kids are as involved with wildlife as they could be. So I do think more awareness for children, just to know that these are living things and we need them and we need to protect them more so than ever.
And Ashley's bird care continues with a group of very vocal baby blackbirds who arrived yesterday from a vet's in Exeter, 50 miles away.
So you see, they're very noisy and they do like to demand food. I think it's instinct that they know that if they sing, they want food and that they won't get food otherwise. It is like being in a garden in here, especially when we get the dunnocks and the robins singing as well.
These little crooners aren't the only birds being cared for in the hospital room. Arch enemies in the shape of a family of raucous baby magpies have moved in next door.
I know a lot of people don't like magpies and would think that we probably shouldn't be helping them because they can affect a lot of the other garden bird populations. But I believe that all wildlife should have a chance and shouldn't suffer. When they're older, and if they become more vocal anytime soon, then they will be moved out of this room. They won't be in a room with their prey, as such as the other garden birds. That way, then, it doesn't frighten the other smaller birds. So having their predators quite opposite them is not a good idea.
While Ashley cares for orphan chicks, in Casualty, vet Heidi is with Katie to check an adult tawny owl's eyes before he can be released. He was found tangled in nearby cricket nets and may have damaged his eyes as he struggled to free himself.
So what I'm just looking is at the eye, making sure that the iris is contracting, and it does very well with him, so I just do that in the other eye too. No abnormalities.
Heidi puts dye in the owl's eyes, which will show up any ulcerations, which could ground this bird.
So I'm using a blue light on the eye. Any damage to the cornea would actually fluoresce bright yellow, and that eye is absolutely fine. And again, I just check this eye. Perfect. The eyes are amazing. They heal very quickly, but it helps with some medication. So he's got the...
The all clear from you. Brilliant.
Great news. A clean bill of health means this owl can soon fly the nest. And there's more good news for Katie. The herring gull has made a remarkable recovery.
He's actually in the pen now, walking about, feeling much better.
Like the tawny owl, he too will soon be released back into the wild. But he's had a lucky escape.
Any animal, any wildlife, and any human being could come across these kinds of hooks. So it's very important to make sure we're disposing of these correctly.
It's a real lesson for us all. A moment of carelessness can so easily cost a life. The dedicated team here work wonders to ensure our wildlife is returned safely to where it belongs.
A cautionary tale indeed. And Margarita will be back with more tomorrow when she meets Fred and George, two badger cubs whose lives could be hanging in the balance. As the days warm up, many of us head to the coast to breathe in the good, salty sea air. And every year, the brave men and women of the RNLI respond to 30,000 calls for help and save around 500 lives. But it's not just the challenges of the waves and the wind that they face, as Matt discovered when he went to one lifeboat station on the northern shores of the Humber Estuary.
Now, not only is the Humber a challenge...
So much to keep us safe. One of my favourite things about spring is tucking in to the first picnic of the year. Now, when I was a boy, the sandwiches were made from white sliced and no options. But these days, artisan bread is the must-have for all smart picnickers. And good bread depends on good flour. Here in the Malverns, the 18th century watermill at East Norcastle would have once produced the kind of stuff that today's craft bakers are crying out for. Jules is in a sleepy corner of Yorkshire to find out about a dream job at the heart of this bread-based revolution.
Wanted. Miller for 17th century watermill comes with 240 acres of countryside on your doorstep.
Now, let's see. Energetic. Yes. Practical. I'd like to think so. There. Send. Sounds just a job.
If you fancy escaping the rat race and earning a crust in the countryside, one of Britain's old-fashioned mills is on the lookout for a miller. And there's never been a better time to get a slice of the action.
The baking industry is worth an estimated £3.6 billion a year. To put that in real terms, that means we get through some 11 million loaves of bread every day. Now, the miller here, Richard Moss, has had enough of putting his nose to the grindstone, and he's about to retire. So, they're looking for a replacement.
Richard's been working here at the Worsborough Mill in Barnsley, South Yorkshire, for 20 years.
Hi, Jules.
Nice to see you, mate. How are
and you, yeah.
Recently, the number of bakeries has risen by a staggering 1,500%, and they may soon overtake coffee shops on our high streets. So Richard's leaving at a point when traditional milling and baking are in a state of rude good health.
Do you think, though, Richard, the job has changed throughout your career?
It has changed drastically throughout my career, yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first started, the two old guys that were here were milling mainly for school groups and for demonstration purposes. But in the last 6 years in particular, we reinvented the product, as it were, and we've gone from 1.5 tons in our first year. I think we topped out at 17 tons this last year.
Wow.
And that's growing all the time. People are waking up to the benefits of the slow ground flour, and the fact that it's organic and totally British wheat brings in the low full miles as well.
There's been a mill in or around Worsborough since the Domesday Book was written in 1086. But its working parts come mostly from its Victorian heyday.
Right, Jules.
Ah, cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
You need a bit of white in this job.
Well, isn't that what it all starts as?
Richard's agreed to see if I'm cut out for the life of a miller. But with zero experience, I'll need to have my wits about me.
Well, this is where we need to be first. It is a very safety-aware job.
Because most people probably don't appreciate, but flour, dust, it ignites readily, doesn't it?
But yeah, it's just like coal dust. When it's suspended in the atmosphere, it's highly explosive. So...
I don't remember firefighting being part of that idyllic job description.
Quickly, we're losing product here.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
There you go.
10 minutes into my apprenticeship, I'm wondering how I ever thought this kind of hard labour could be a romantic career choice.
It's getting slacker now.
There you go, that's it.
Just like cleaning a chimney, isn't it? You do a lot of ducking around here, don't you?
You do.
40...
17, 18...
18... Say when?
Yeah, you're fine for now. You can leave that running for a little while.
60.
Well done.
And how long are you hoping to mill for on a good day?
I think we'll get done for about 10 o'clock tonight, Jules. No, I'm only joking.
Long days only apply if you like long days. Right.
In the year 2000, there were around 18 traditional mills making a crust. Today, that number has more than doubled to 40. But after all that hard graft, do you really get a better end product?
With this type of milling, it's a slower grind. You don't get the heat building up in the stones like you do in modern roller mills.
Yeah.
And so basically what you're getting in the grain that's come off the field is what you're getting in the flour. So I think we're at a point now, Jules, if you want to check what's coming through now. And we should...
It's like milking a cow, you feel that pulse of product. So if I squeeze that together...
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's just starting to crumble apart at the ends. That's what we're after.
So, $1 million question. My first day on the job, how have I done?
Done absolutely brilliant, but then again, you've had a good teacher.
Exactly, exactly.
My milling skills are questionable, but there's no mistaking our growing appetite for so-called craft bread, with more than one supermarket reporting increased sales of up to 40%. The mill here at Worsborough supplies 20 artisan outlets, and one of them is run by expert baker Jackie Jackson.
Hello, Jackie.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
And I'm hoping she can tell me why fancy bread is on the rise.
People are demanding more for the money. Why take all that goodness out and create a plain, dull, white sliced loaf? It's got its place, but you can get all those rich things like iron, calcium, you know, out of the natural grains.
I mean, I suppose one of the things that many people will be concerned about is that artisan bread is going to seem that bit more expensive compared to your run-of-the-mill white bread you're going to find in the shops.
It can be. It depends what, how you place it, because you get a lot more for your money out of artisan bread. You take a slice of this and you won't go back for a second one because you'll be full.
Our hunger for traditional bread means that more and more of us are making our own. And the number of baking classes is on the up, including one run by Jackie. So she's well placed to know what's trending in the world of the posh loaf.
So your artisan breads are made with sourdoughs. And sourdough is like creating that ferment without adding yeast.
So what are your favourites amongst this lot?
Well, I do like the simple cottage loaf. I say it's simple, or we call it in Yorkshire the Yorkshire cob. And this is just made with the organic white flour from the mill here, and it creates a beautiful crumb, as you can see.
Yeah.
This one's packed with a real mixture of your rye flour and wholemeal and the organic white. But just to add a bit of interest, I put pecans in there and some honey. So I've naturally sweetened it with honey rather than sugar.
It's enough to make a would-be miller ravenous. So I'm meeting Richard again to taste the fruits of our labour.
Hey, Richard.
Hi, Jules.
There we are. I'm glad you brought the tea.
Oh, yes.
Well, should we try some of this bread?
Yeah, fantastic.
I know you've probably had tons of it over your lifetime, but...
You can never get enough of Yorkshire bread. This particular grain that we use has got a really nutty flavour to it, and it really comes out.
And these ducks are obviously used to it.
Oh, but they're not getting any of this.
Cheers, mate. Very, very best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, I might not have what it takes to fill Richard's shoes, but milling is one of those artisan trades that's enjoying a real revival. And I tell you what, it's not a bad way to earn your daily bread.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but please do join us again tomorrow for more tasty morsels on Countryfile Spring Diaries. When Steve finds out how cats can cause carnage in our gardens.
They kill on average probably just under 1 million birds in the UK a week.
A million birds a week?
Paul turns firefighter to discover why our springtime hills are a potential tinderbox.
You could see in this white, very fine grass, you could see how fast the fire would move.
And Teddy and I are finding out how your dog could help save the lives of other dogs.
So, goodbye until then.